First note, this little graphic right here in the background is in perfect line with my cursor. Look at that. Feels good. Feels real good. All right, pausing the B. Miles, you here? I emailed Miles like half an hour ago and said, hey, just so you know. So, Miles, let me know if you're in the chat, huh? But we'll roll with Jenn for the time being. Since we know Jenn's here, of course. Overtones in the chat, naturally. We got Jenn, Overton, game audio, and implementation. This seems like it's a low res. Is that because I'm zoomed in? Doesn't look low res compared to the. It's kind of like blurry. It's a graphic, clearly not like a. It's not a font. It's a graphic. So this, I suspect this is just a low resolution graphic. Perhaps you can just go bigger by a bit. Like what a nitpick, but yeah, it couldn't hurt. Well, even here it looks kind of low res. You can see the pixels on the edge. You know? Yeah, this seems like it's a blown up, smaller image. So it might be room to improve there a little bit. Yeah, part of a graphic. Yeah, I assume. You just, the thing is, we have the crispness of the background, right? And so it's hard not to see the comparison with the other content in the screen. Bio. Here we are. Hi. No glasses, though. Glasses. No glasses. Hi, I'm Jenn, she, her. I'm a sound designer based in Chicago, Illinois, USA. I started off getting a degree in saxophone performance and music education from Lawrence University. Which saxophone, though? While this was a great experience, it wasn't quite the best fit for me. I ended up doing a deep dive into different areas of sound and music, and game audio was the first thing that truly clicked with me. This eventually led to enrolling in Northwestern University's MA in Sound Arts and Industries program. Cool. At Northwestern, I took on as many game audio opportunities as possible. This included game jams, redesigning my own gameplay, building my Foley/field recording library, and creating my own levels to design and implement in Unity and UE5. I got it. It's kind of awkward, but I get it. I also explored opportunities outside of game audio, such as creating an instrument with Arduino and Max MSP, designing for audio dramas, and continuing to play saxophone, naturally. I mean, play saxophone. Is this like, is the plural of saxophone? Maybe. Currently, I'm an intern at the Pardo Brothers LLC working on sound design and implementation for various video game projects. As in Steve Pardo? The Pardo Brothers? I only know one Pardo brother and it's Steve. If it's Steve. If he's one of the Pardo. How many Pardos can there be in game audio? I guess at least 2 brothers. Fair. Oh, it's this Jenn. Oh, cool. You know Ben. Ben's a good person to know. Ben knows what's up. Favorite games. Death's Door, Tunic. I can't help but seeing Death's Door is above Tunic in this list, Jenn. What's going on? For a second, I thought it might be, alphabetical. But unfortunately, the very next item on the list disabused me of that notion. The Outer Worlds. Not Wilds? Do you mean Wilds or Worlds? Because people who love Inscription and love Tunic love the Outer Wilds. And Outer Worlds, A, doesn't have a "the" in the title, and is a very different game than these games. Spiritfarer, Stardew Valley, Darkest Dungeon. Yo, these shouts. It is Worlds? Really? Wow. Is it called The Outer Worlds? It is called The Outer Worlds. Well, I stand corrected. I apologize. Outer Wilds doesn't have. I had it backwards. Outer Wilds is not. There's no the. Outer Worlds has the. My mistake. I just being. You were setting me up for a certain expectation given these games. That's fine. Skills: Wise, Reaper, Pro Tools. Pro Tools, capital T, space. Is it? I don't even know. Pro Tools? I was already wrong once. And we're wrong? No, only wrong once still. It's 2 words, capital T. Unity, Unreal Engine 5, Max MSP. I see you spelled it differently up here. No space. I'm not sure which is the correct way, though. Max MSP. Arduino, Foley, field recording, music performance, saxophone, crocheting, hiking, my cats. Very nice. Might as well throw a capital C. Yeah, capitals everywhere else, like performance and stuff, you know. Musical theater. Wonderful. I too am a show geek. Yeah, I played trumpet in post-secondary, actually. I'm not sure you know that, Jen. And my department head, my wind department head, played many instruments, but his principal was the soprano saxophone. And he once told a joke to the class. He said, "What is the difference between a soprano sax player lying dead in the road and a chicken lying dead in the road?" Well, there's a remote chance the chicken was on its way to a gig. Moving on. Again, he played the instrument he was roasting. It's fine. Portfolio. Sound design. Got it. Inscription sound redesign. I don't know if I've ever seen Inscription redesigned. It's pretty cool. Daniel Mullins, more Vancouver brethren up in here. Good game. Very good game. Is this spoilery, though? Or is it Act 1 redesigned? That's the question. Are you also being considerate of your viewer and redesigning only Act 1? Death's Door inner furnace sound redesign. Have a nice death. Yeah, wow, these are very these are unusual redesigns. Sound implementation. Escape room. It's a level I built to learn Unreal Engine 5 blueprints and Unreal Audio implementation with Wise. Cool. Got it. Various things. Parsnip and what's happening here? There's like a black image. What's see? It's covering the background, like in this area right here. I guess it's like a box with stuff in it, and the box goes down to here due to this side. Hey, that's why. That's fine. Excuse me. Parsnip and Rhubarb's excellent adventure, like Bill and Ted's. It's a personal project I made from scratch in order to learn more about Unity game development and practice-wise implementation. No period. There's a period here. So consistency. Got it. Unity VR escape room. A level I made. You can probably... no, you're probably fine, I guess. It's a level I made to learn VR level design and implementation using tools available in Unity. Okay, I love puzzle games, so an escape room felt like the right way to learn. It's a good, cool reason to like... I like to say seeing why you did this, so yeah, that's nice. Additional work. Non-game audio things. Sketch of a sketch. Whoa. Clipboard. Clipboard instrument. Let's go. We're gonna watch that. Right now. Was I quiet? Oh, it is quiet because I still have Chrome turned down. Sorry, that's my fault. One more time. Okay, now I'm hearing pops like crazy. I'm hearing these ones now. Bless. Bless. It's a 512. What's the problem? I'm gonna try closing this. Is it my fault or your fault? Are there just pops because of how the thing is built? No, it's for sure different than it was, right? I think it's both. Actually, I think it's both. It's both me and you, Jen. We're both guilty here. This is crazy. We're reading this. There are 3 soft pot membrane potentiometers and 2 ultrasonic sensors on the clipboard. The soft pots take readings based on pressure placement along the membrane, while the ultrasonics read distance, in this case inches, from the sensors. A piece of paper gets clipped on the board, and the sensors take readings as the performer draws on top. These values are sent to a max patch where there are 2 multi-channel synths and a setup for FM synthesis. The soft pots change the tempo of the patch and the domains of the multi-channel synths, while the ultrasonic changes the FM modulation and the controls key changes, and the controls key changes, all in harmonic minors. No period. I have imposter syndrome right now. This is way beyond me. Yeah, I can't recall who did the talk years ago at Game SoundCon, but something about, it may have been Stefan Schutz actually, but about how there's so many, like, even though game audio is kind of a tight industry, it's already pretty niche, there still are all these, like, think of game dev as like a tree and game audio as one branch. We still have all these twigs, going off the branch of different specializations and so forth. And things like FM synth is such a black box to me. Like, I'm never going to learn this. I also don't really super have a huge interest in learning it, so it's those two things together. But yeah, this is really, really sick. So cool. Well done. Distinction. Check mark. Non-audio game things. That's pretty funny. Non-game audio things and non-audio game things. I see what you're doing there. Retraced by Team Shrimply. Sandtastic. Okay, visuals demo. Non-audio. Okay, sure. Cats and Crochet. Made it this far. Yo, loves Tunic. What's up? Landed on thick. Pretty sick though. Very nice. Let's I mean, this is a great look so far. Like, zoomed to 100%. This is, oh, one thing is the background tiles. It's kind of weird at 100%, but again, not a big deal. But if that's the kind of thing you care about, just know it does. There's a big line right here. Like, why can't you tile it there instead? Right? Does that make sense? Rather than on this edge. Yeah, just like ripping down here. It's pretty cool. Many things to look at. And there's no links to find your way around easily though, is one thing. Because there is a lot on the front page. And I would say it goes in order of importance. Like you say, if you made it this far, right? I mean, this is not the first thing you should be showing. It is indeed the last thing to show. Absolutely. Oh, parsnip and rhubarb. I see now. That's the Bill and Ted right there. I got you. Yeah, maybe still worth having some kind of navigational something or other. Just because it's convention. It's conventional to have one. That's the only reason, Let's watch a thing. Shall we? And hopefully this behaves. 3, 2, 1, and go. Yeah. Oh, I closed FL Studio, so I can't press the clap button. Hey, claps. Thank you so much, Jen. All right. So, first things first here It is a good length. I was happy to watch the whole thing. Thank you. We got some bookends, just presentation-wise. We got Overton audio. We talked about the fact that it looks kind of blurry, like the size of the image, just due to resolution stuff, I guess, I assume. Sound design, implementation, big O, Overton. Pretty fun. Cool. Front and back. Probably couldn't hurt to have your contact info. I mean, it's right there, right? But up to you. I do like how clean it is. There's that too. So if you want to go minimal, then so be it. Titling and stuff. What do we have? We got this. Death's Door, Acid Nerve, Sound Redesign. I kind of was hoping it'd be similar to this. Like a dark background with a pink font that matches something here. Like a drawn thing would be cool. If you can use a drawn, like this same drawn font. Or this one. Or is this the font for like dyslexia? I feel like this is a thing I've seen before. Where it's kind of a bit like blobby. Isn't that it? I feel like when you go into game accessibility settings and choose like dyslexic font, it looks kind of like that. But the point being, this font here is new, and why not just dig in deeper on the brand identity you've already kind of set up for yourself here, you know? Why not? Moving on. Transition is nothing to write home about. Pretty flat, just to black and back in. We are Zvi Shermaning though. It would seem, right? Death's Door. Look how bright it is. Boom. And woof. Lower opacity. We're Shermaning. Cool. And then this one, escape room into this, right? Around here? I don't know if you planned this, but I kind of liked how we had this wooden background. We're picking an item up, and then next shot is wooden background items. Felt like a good point of transition. And I think even a crossfade rather than on a black. So there is that. It's a different transition. And then here we have another one. What do we got? A J cut, it sounds like. Yeah, so a little more of a consideration there for the transition. Fair enough. An ending is what? Yeah. Okay. So okay, let's start talking about some material selection stuff. So so first presentation wise, flow projects, it's just fine. Yeah, transitions are fine. Nothing amazing, but it's certainly not bad. Like nothing is pulling us out or jarring or anything like that. But material selection, so we have a very indie game, like AAA kind of game. We got a AAA kind of game inscription. We got a AAA kind of game. And then this one is your own project, so this is great. This really screams to me that you want to work on those kinds of games. You know, small to mid-sized teams, making something kind of weird, making something new, interesting, as opposed to working on The Outer Worlds, for instance, which is a very different project. Yeah. So assuming that is what you're going for, that is what this is expressing right now. So if so, great. If not, then we can talk about that. The third thing, content quality. So my impression after the first minute is that A, this reel is quiet, and B, this reel is flat. It feels like my impression, especially in this last clip, my impression was that Jenn, you may be, for whatever reason, cautious to really go all in on a sound, you know? So we have something happening, and that fader, you just don't want to push it up for some reason. And I still suffer from the same affliction. My co-founder at Power Up, Jeff Tangsock, he and I are a pretty good balance because I think he makes this too loud and he thinks I makes it too quiet. So we tend to find some middle ground usually. But yeah, very frequently I'll mix something kind of quiet and subtle, and he's like, "Dude, like, come on." I'm like, "All right, I'll pull it up," and it's usually better. So it's just in general, it seems like you may benefit from saying, okay, where are, in this clip I've selected, what are the most important things narratively, either in terms of supporting or like informing what's happening in the story of the game, or it's player feedback stuff, like they need to know what's happening in the world around them, or they've done something and they need to be rewarded for it, or just is an intense dramatic thing and you want to add some gravitas to that moment, some drama. Whatever the reason is for the magnitude that something probably should be, it's got to be reflected in the volume too, you know? Volume, and not just volume, but like frequency range. If it's more broadband, if you're adding more bass to something to make it more powerful, etc. It felt like we were kind of in this like quieter place and also like reduced frequency range place for a lot of the reel. A lot of it felt like that. Like even now I feel like I still am not sure right now if I'm just listening to it quiet, but we were listening to music before this and it was a good level. So I know, air quotes, I know it should be correct, but this seems real quiet. You know, you can do something like, I'm not sure if this is in your workflow, Jen, or anybody else in the chat for that matter. But when I am finalizing something, whether that's a sound effect or a full mix in a trailer or whatever, I will usually print that thing. Let's say it's a trailer and I have 24 layers of music and voiceover and gameplay SFX and special SFX, all these things. Like all these things, I just send all of them through a sum aux and then send that sum to a print track and just record it. So I have all that audio and all those layers in one place. Just what we're hearing right here, right? Just in one waveform. And then when you see that, it's very easy to see right away, like, okay, this could use some love in the volume department, or you can see there's differences in loudness just glancing at it. I mean, we should be able to, you learn that just listening to it over time naturally, but you can see it. You have that kind of support system visually as well, yeah? And from there, what I'll usually do is, well, you can start being aware of, okay, the average loudness looks to be about right here. And in fact, we haven't done this in a while. Let's do a little paint, shall we? Hey, everyone loves a little paint. So we have, if most of the waveform is like blah, 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 and it's like, and then blah, 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 then this is like obviously an issue, right? And it doesn't even need to be that high. It can be like this, and even like that kind of spike, like to here or something. This is different than the other kind of average loudness over here, right? So this indicates two things. It's like or indicates one thing mainly, is this should probably be addressed in some way, because it could be, it's just some big peak and it's not adding anything. It just is a peak that's naturally present in a wave file, and it's not adding loudness. It's just amplitude only. A good example is something like a crackling campfire. You have this kind of like low roar of the fire and some like pops and stuff here and there, and one's like bam, and that bam, either A, you can like get rid of it, like cut and just crossfade around it, or B, just limit hard, because you're still going to have that kind of feature, that expression of the popping, campfire. You just don't need that big peak. And that peak introduces issues like distortion and so forth, and loudness, and you get like incorrect readings of where the peak level actually is compared to everything else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not a good scene. But then once you have all this stuff, let's say that right here we're peaking at like, I don't know. I mean, ignore this up and down here. It can be like here instead, right? Very easily. So say this is like 0. So say this is peaking at what, like minus 12 or something? Well, you can very easily just throw on a limiter and be like, and crank it up 12 dB. You can normalize it if you want to 12 dB. Normalize to 0. And then from there, I would usually consider, okay, well, do I want to squash it a bit though? Get a little more compression or limiting or whatever going on. So I might use something like a Waves L1, just like a basic limiter, like a 1-channel limiter, just threshold and output kind of thing. And just squash by like 3 dB. So we're taking everything and pushing it 3 dB beyond just a bit to get a little more loudness involved there. And we're not chasing like commercial radio loudness wars stuff here. We're just making sure that on the whole, we're not just like tickling that 0 and we're just being nice and healthy. Like, no, we got a good body to this sound across the whole thing. But in the end, yeah, you got to be listening to other content that you love on Netflix or YouTube or just in games or whatever, and say, okay, well, how is this loudness compared to what I'm making? Because really, it's a systems calibration thing too, right? If your loudness is, if your system's calibrated to be kind of quiet, well then, or rather, if it's calibrated to be loud, then while you're working, to you it will seem loud. But once you hear that mix on any other system, you might think to yourself, oh, I'm like reaching for this volume knob a lot and just like cranking it up so I can hear it. So it's really important to consider loudness during your creation and finalizing process, but also just take the thing you've made and listen to it on your friend's computer, on your sound bar in your like home theater system, or in your car, or at school with the in a classroom, or on your phone, or whatever, and just see what you hear. And it might reveal things to you that you were not aware were there. And it's hard to even say what those things are. Maybe it's too much reverb. Maybe it's like maybe all those low end hits you made are completely absent on a phone. You're like, oh damn, there's nothing there, because all there was like a sub bass or something. So yes, it's a easy thing to ramble about because there are so many things to gain by doing that referencing. But hopefully that helps. This definitely is quiet. If I go to my other system here and just see, I mean, if I'm press and play here on your reel, let's see what we're peaking at. If I just do this here, let's see. So aux in, it's going to be, yeah, roughly accurate, I think. So let's see what we get. Okay, so your splash peaks at minus 11, roughly. Again, this claims to be peaking at minus 1.4, but I really feel like it's this going on. It's hanging out at like minus 6 most of the time, and then it's like 1, and then 6 for the rest of it. There's certainly room to like consider relative loudness, because the 1 wasn't even the thing that it probably should be, which is like the big douche that someone mentioned in the chat. Jodgers said that door open sound needs a douche. 100%. It does. 100%. I think there's screen shake, isn't there? Yeah, there is. That clack you got in there. Screen shake means bass content. You got to have it in there. Big rumbly thing. All right, I'm falling behind on chat big time here. 1 second. So, okay, so Jen says, I definitely tend to be quiet on my mixing, so I'll definitely expand that. And I haven't tried that, but we'll start incorporating that in the workflow. Oh, like the printing thing? Yeah, printing is very good for a variety of reasons. I mean, if you have a printed sound effect, it's easier to just simply say, oh, this is really close, but I need to do some multi-band compression or some EQ on it or whatever, as opposed to EQing like the various parts of a sound or something. It's a good little like final, kind of like or pre-final single bit, and then put in the game. Oh, not quite there. Fix it up. Reaper equal sampler. There you go. Okay. Adapari. I'm constantly terrified of mixing too loud, so I overcompensate. Yeah. It is an easy thing to happen for sure. You have a question, Pracha. What's up? Good to see you. I downloaded the Fmod project for Celeste and followed all the steps in the FMod website. New banks, everything. Every time you launch the game, you see the initial logo. There's a bunch of error message on a text file. You don't know if it's because you're using 2.02 version. Oh, well, we didn't use 2.02 for Celeste. I think it was like 1 point something. I'm pretty sure that that's a... Yeah, if you're using... I can't recall off the top of my head which version it was, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't 2.02. I mean, 2018. It's been a while. Yeah, the Fmod version has to match. Absolutely. So if you use Fmod to open it, it's like, hey, we need to import or migrate this to whatever, then you're going the wrong way. It should just open nicely right away. Okay. So, back into here. We can talk about this specifically, Jen, a little bit. Yeah, so this here, like this moment, boom, big moment, big blast, lights up. We can talk about like closing your eyes also. I think that's something you've probably heard on this stream before, Jen, is like just close your eyes and see if you can tell what's happening moment to moment. And if you can call out those big moments here and there, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's... I kind of want to pull in Isotope and look at the spectrogram, because I feel like if we were to look at... let's undo all this. We're not going to talk about this instead. So here is our spectrogram. We have like the lows and the highs, right? Highs, lows. I kind of suspect that your spectrogram is a lot of like this area and not much up top and not much down below either. That's kind of how it's coming across right now. So the thing about, I mean, I love doors, by the way. Doors are my absolute 100% certain favorite thing to design in games. Like by a wide margin. Doors are just sweet. They represent so much. You can dig into all these like little articulations and stuff. I mean, you chose this door. The game's called Death's Door. Here's a door. Adorable. Doors are the best. You have like boom, 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 boom. All these things happen in a row. It's like the rotation. Click. It's like ka-chunk inwards and then like a big slide and a thunk, big drop thing. There's all these waypoints, right? From start to finish. So you're afforded this wonderful privilege of just dressing all these waypoints with what you think belongs. And so a big consideration, or one I encourage you to consider, I think it should be a big consideration in sound design in general, is differentiating things moment to moment. And with something like this, it's like the concept of moment to moment is just cranked to 11 because you have all these articulations back to back to back to back to back, right? So when you're thinking about how to differentiate things like A and B, as we go from A to B to C to D, A and B could be different volumes. They could be different frequency ranges. They have different pitch focuses, different panning, like different. Yeah, there's a lot of options available. Different textures. You know, there's a lot of things available to you, and it seems that here we're kind of in the same frequency range and loudness for a lot of it. So it's what it's doing is it's serving to weaken that moment to moment nature of the design of this door opening, because we're not moving from here to there. We're kind of moving from here to here. Like it's just we're still where we were. If that makes sense. It's a bit conceptual, but I hope that makes sense to you. Like if you go like up high low, those are very different. So conceptually, it stands to reason something different happened from this moment here to this moment here. We have up top and down below. Two things. If it's like it's like those are kind of the same, and sometimes that's appropriate. I mean, we have, for example, the kind of outer teeth coming in, wherever those are, like the clack, 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 clack. That makes complete sense to be kind of in the same family, you know? Bam, bam, bam. And you recognize that and have that same like kind of thunk, thunk, thunk on those moments. But even those can be a little different, you know, because it's not the same thing. It's a similar thing happening each time. So then we have this in. Yeah. And the, okay, there's we can focus on this door like real easily for a long time. So I'll try to move on at some point. The other thing with doors is, and especially with ones like this, where there's things you can't see, I would encourage you to start thinking about designing beyond what you're just seeing right in front of you. Because like what's happening inside this door, there could be articulating things. What is causing like the thunk, thunk, thunk to pop in? Like what's inside this door? Are there additional gears that are clacking away? Is there more like multi-stage mechanisms that reside inside the guts of this door? Like what's happening inside the wall? This thing is rolling away. It's not just a freestanding door with no additional power to make it move. You know, it's like something's going on to pull it into the wall. Yeah. The one other thing I'll mention is the reverb in this space is pretty serious, and it might be fine at that level if you had beefier direct sound content on this stuff. But because it's kind of weak, and I would call it cautious, I think you've designed very cautiously. Because it's kind of cautious like that, we have this this relationship between, oh, hello, please. It's working. There we go. We have this relationship between, we have kind of our, it's not really panorama, but panorama measures into it. If we have the center here, we can call this center kind of like our direct sound. And then like everything else on the sides is our reverb kind of filling in the space. Because if you kill out the reverb in that mix, I imagine you probably did at some point. You didn't always have reverb in there, right? If you kill off that reverb, I imagine what's left is going to be pretty like dainty. You know, it's not going to be too full. And the allure of reverb is like you add it to a mix and like, yes, it feels so full and so rich. But it can also fool you into thinking that what you designed before the reverb is complete, and maybe it's not. So having more, like even this kind of clank, clank, clank of this big thing falling down. I mean, how this door is huge compared to our little crow, our crow hero, you know? So when this thing falls, like bam. I mean, if we were underneath that thing, we'd be game over. This thing is like got some weight to it. Again, screen shake, boom, you know, big doom. What you can do with that is have like some big bassy doom, big hit, but throw on like a ping on top of it. It'll sound nice and solid, like solid. There's no like clang or like tinny aluminum siding kind of feel to it. It's like solid hit with a metal ring out, so you get that weight on it. It still sounds metal. And Yanni has good ideas. There you go. Yes, Jen. Yanni knows what's up. Yeah, so not only relationship of like central to reverb, but sorry, like direct sound to reverb. You want to have lots of central, sorry, I said central again. Lots of direct sound and a bit less reverb. And like center and pan stuff is important too. It's just like this is all put in front of us. I mean, it's basically center as far as the content. But because it's a big articulating thing in the door, like what's under this vent? What's in the walls? You have room to have further sound that's kind of like it's formless, you know, and it's not obvious where it's coming from. It could just be in the facility somewhere. Perhaps you have room for that, you know? And there's some ambience in here, but I know I've played this game, and I know like there's like a conveyor here or something. Is that what it is? There are things happening in this environment that are not just air. you know? There's almost no ambience there, like almost none. Yeah, this sounds very Inscription. I think it still suffers from the same things we've been talking about before, like the frequency range stuff and the cautious design stuff. But in terms of what you've designed, even that, like, we have the same sound as the Inscription. So this redesign is, well, A, bold because the game sounds good, but B, it's not really bringing your voice to the table very much. It's more like an exercise kind of redesign. And on top of that, the voice, like the stuff when he's talking, happens what, here, I think, after the candle. That low stuff. I mean, it's kind of characterless. It's like a little like rumbly thing. And the original game has so much character to that like stuff. So this is, I think, under-designed. If you're redesigning Inscription, you got to be meeting it where it's at, you know, and putting your own spin on things. But yeah, this is pretty under-designed compared to the original. And the rest of it is like trying to design to where the original's at. So it's not like doing you huge favors. It is indicating the kind of games you want to work on. That's good. But yeah, you can be going further for sure. And last one here. Yeah, like this moment, Jen, like, come on. This like slice. Look, this moment in the slice, can I use this button? Yeah. This here, it's the full screen. You see that? It's like, and scythe, boom, white. The entire screen is the weapon, you know? And it's like, everyone's dead. That moment is like, it's so small. It's extremely small. Like if I close my eyes and listen to that, I mean, if you just asked somebody, hey, close your eyes, listen to this, what do you think this is? You know? I don't know that they would say, oh, it's the sound of like a scythe cutting several people in half. You know? It's like, it's a very careful, again, cautious, like slice thing. And like a little squelch. It's just not there. Like you need a lot more base content, a lot more, yeah, just this gotta be way beefier. And the thing is, not all of it needs to be beefy, but some definitely has to be beefy. That dynamic range right now is, I'm leaning on paint pretty hard today, sorry, but if we go from, okay, here is silence, okay? So like this is volume upwards, is how we're talking about this. If we have the, and this is like, we'll call this 0 dB, yeah? So if this is a very loud thing, right? That's like that attack, for instance. That should be dominating the mix. It's huge. And we have silence, which is, you know, reserved for a moment here and there, but also silence is pretty powerful, so careful with that. I would say most of your design is hanging out like here, you know? It's not hanging out here. I'm gonna be very clear about this. Like this is not a make it a bit louder situation. This is a make it a lot louder situation. Like you have a lot of space to increase your dynamic range a whole lot. Yeah, like this here, the grab, ping. We have that pung. But again, it's the question of, there's all this like whoosh happening as well. Okay, the ambience with the kind of wind blowing the background is also mono. We have stereo sounds otherwise, but the ambience is right in front of us. So it just serves to, again, minimize your design. Like, you're not doing yourself any favors. It's quiet, it's central, it's like low frequency range. So you have this box to work in like this, and you're like, no, I'll be fine over here. And you're just like in the corner, just like doing your thing. But you have this huge canvas to work with. You definitely, you got to explore that space a lot more than you are, you know, a whole lot. There's definitely some, you're taking some steps in the right direction in terms of varying up textures and doing some panning here and there. But even the panning is kind of like careful, you know. But just take these things you're doing and just crank them all to 11 and just see where you end up, you know. Because yeah, you definitely need to be leaning harder into this design. All right. So the good news is you have a whole lot going for you in literally every other part of your work. like you know the games you like to play and want to work on. You're doing like this stuff. You're doing UE5 Unity stuff. You're working at Max MSP. Like, you're obviously cranking away. So now you're just faced with just honing your craft, right? In terms of sound design. And yeah, takes some work for sure. Distinction. Are you sending out in some positive way? I mean, the thing is, this reel is absolutely quite junior, and needs a lot of work. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. This needs a whole lot of work to get up to be competitive with other people who are vying for the same gigs you're looking for. But everything else in your page and everything else about you indicates that you're up to the task. You know? So if I think that if this is improved, if you keep just cranking away on your sound design chops, I mean, like, no joke, literally everything else here is indicating that you're a good hire. Like, you're a safe hire. You're gonna be invested, and you're self-driven, and you can learn, and all these things are very, very positive. So that's fantastic. I don't want to act like this is like, oh, no hope, your sound design is like not up to snuff, because no, there's a whole lot of good stuff here. So I think that distinction, I'm going to say yes with a heavy asterisk, saying yes, I think you're standing out, but it's one of those times where it's like, I think you're standing out, but I don't think that you're quite at a getting hired state yet, you know? Sometimes distinctions like, yeah, you're standing out, like you're hired yesterday, like you're super good. But there's a lot of room just to keep focusing in on, the classics like balance, panorama, frequency range, dynamics, dimension, and then interest is the last one. Interest is like what comes after all that stuff, all those foundations, the fundamentals. Okay, I'm gonna end here for Jen. Love seeing your stuff. I love seeing stuff from people I've seen in the chat over and over again. So yeah, thanks a lot. Claps for you. We have no clap button because of Focusrite Scarlet nonsense. So, oh well. Yeah, thank you so much, Jen. Okay, closing her down. Miles, I've seen you before, twice now. Well, 2 events now. Is Miles here? Did Miles show up? You are Miles. Adapara, you're Miles. Did I know that? I feel this is not your first rodeo in our chat. Like, you've been here before. I know that handle. But perhaps I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you've been around. Okay. You're sneaky. Got it. I understand. Okay. Miles Caraker. Am I butchering that? I'm worried. Caraker? Ugh. Yeah, we'll find out soon. Caraker. Miles Caraker. Okay, got it. Thank you. We got home. We got about me. Projects, non-audio. Instagram? Is it audio things? How nice. Okay. And we have a demo up top. Is a vertical page. It seems like it's not. About is a new page. I was going to stay blurred for a second. Like, ooh, what a sneaky, mysterious man. Okay, we got about me. We got projects. Wax Heart. Oh, this was. I played Wax Heart. This is Sarah McCroovy, right? Isn't that right? Slip and Slime Project Frame. Okay, non-audio projects. Slimbox. All right, got it. Got it. Some various nerdy things. Your non-audio projects. Wonderful. I may be misremembering this. I feel like I did play this. Wax Heart. Did I play this? I'm pretty sure I played this game. I'm going to know right away if I go watch the video. What do we got? Skipping ahead. Like a jerk. Oh, this is not the game that I thought I was playing. It's a different game. I apologize. I apologize to both you and to Sarah McCurvey. I'm sorry. This is not the same game at all. It was at GDC. Okay, it was just there. I got you. Okay, back to about me then. Or home, it was scrolling. I pressed home. It was like, you're already here. Okay, home. Also LinkedIn, fair. Get in touch is its own button and not like a contact, which is unusual. This feels very templatey, like a template widget kind of thing. What happens? Oh god, it's a link. It's a what do you call it? Mail to. It's a mail to link. I should have seen that. People have mixed feelings on this link. I don't use, as you can see, this button does not do anything helpful for me. It's like, what do I want to do, man? I'm like, I'm gonna close that. So this is kind of annoying. Just throw your email here. Just put your email visible. It's right there. It's fine. About me. Let's have a look. Oh, my Insta is very old. Well, okay. I mean, I didn't look at it at all. Right? I opened it, closed it right away. All I wanted to see is if it was audio things. And then your reaction was to tell me it's very old. So if you are already giving me disclaimers and I didn't even look at it, then I would suggest that you ask yourself, do I want to link to this? You know? Because you're not going to be over the shoulder of the recruiter you're emailing saying, hey, so here's my website, but just so you know, my Insta is very old. Like, if you're saying that, then just don't link to it, you know? It's up to you, though, of course. About me. Who am I? Good movie. I'm Miles. I've been making noise my whole life, but recently turned my need to create. I stopped reading. It was confusing. It made more sense if I keep going. My need to create into a career in sound design. Okay. I grew up and currently live. Oh, it's like two different tenses. That's why it feels weird. I currently live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Where I went to school is San Francisco State University. While I got my BA in cinema, I found something special in audio design and have been pursuing it since. Since graduating college, I've worked on a handful of small titles, which can be found on the projects page. Your link is one space too many. Be aware. I enjoy the process of iterating on an idea until it's near perfect and then tearing it back into its pieces to find a more elegant solution. I like the challenge of implementing logic for game sound and middleware like Fmod. Outside of working on sound, I love building things, learning new skills, fantasy and science, learning new... Okay, this is its own thing. I don't know if it's a me problem. There's a few places where I feel like I'm stumbling. Building things, learning new skills. I was in like a verb noun space, and then fantasy and science fiction and video games, and tabletop RPGs like D&D. Some of my extracurricular projects can be found... Why is it in quotes? Can be found on the non-audio projects page. Cool. Favorite games: Wind Waker, Ori, Dishonored, Space Engineers, Guilty Gear Strive. We got DD2. Thanks, man. Helldivers 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring randomized. All right. That's a pretty specific thing to love. That's pretty funny. I mean, yeah, it's the formatting's kind of weird, isn't it? Is that because of the zoom? Is that why? No, it's not. It feels kind of strange. The center justify with only 2 lines and one is half length and then it's like 3 lines, but it's all the same spacing. Is that just me? Does this feel strange to anybody else? I don't know. It just felt odd to read it like this. Excuse me. Yeah, I think you could use a small edit, but I guess sure, it's fine. it's like a little bit generic here and there, but it's not bad. It's all right. Projects we glanced at already, and let's watch the reel. Yeah, it just kind of feels strange. A little bit. Again, might be a me problem. Miles, if you're down with it, then by all means, leave it like it is. Okay, how long is this? 110. Ooh, we're into the 1x length here. Is this going to be a good volume? Is it actually a me problem in the end after all? This feels quiet too. Is it me? Like, I just don't know. 1 second. I'm so worried. If I search, like, what kind of search that exists out there right now? I don't know, like some trailer or something? I was just playing the Celeste 64 OST, wasn't I? So loud. Dude. It's not a me problem. Okay, sorry, we'll play the whole thing. But, I mean, there you go. The volume made me stop the video, Miles. I mean, Jen, take note also. Because I did not stop it, but I was thinking, is my volume messed up, you know? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's watch it through. 3, 2, 1. That was loud. All right. Again, no clap button. Okay, we're clapping. We're clapping. Claps in the chat, please, if you wouldn't mind. Thanks, Miles. All right. So, I mean, the volume is a huge problem. Huge. And it's made worse because there are louder things during Wax Heart. And then Ori is kind of in the middle. It's still quiet. It's louder than the previous, like, first couple clips, but it's not loud, you know? So we have this weird pear-shaped thing going on. It's like really quiet and then loud. I mean, even it's Wax Heart's not loud, but there is a loud sound in it. You know? Like this doo. And this bit here is loud too. Louder. I wouldn't characterize that as a loud sound, but it's loud compared to these things. And look at these like world-ending moves, you know, like it's a big problem. I want to put like a limiter on this thing and just. Oh, there already is like a man. It's it's a lot as it stands already. Like I can go more. Let's go. Just immediately so much. This is 12 dB. That's so much, Miles. So much. I'll pull it back though before I blow my ears off. 12 dB is a lot, and it's not even peaking yet. You know, it's like there's room to improve that volume. Oh, by a whole lot, man. Okay, so let's talk presentation though. So 110. It's like skirting the long side a bit, and I don't know that it needs to be. You can definitely kill off a second or two here and there. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Yeah. As far as flow goes, though, so we have this opening. The opening's kind of like purple light. It kind of took me by surprise. I didn't really know what I was looking at. Purple light. And on the front here, we do have some purple here. I guess that's relevant. But there's not much else that is branded here, I suppose. Yeah, it's pretty like generic template-y, which again, not the end of the world, just isn't standing out, you know? So it's not that you have minuses, it's just that you're not getting pluses, if that makes sense. I think this font, though, being completely different than this font is probably at least do that. You know, if you're doing purple stuff, if purple is your color for your brand, so to speak, then you probably have room to at least bring in some consistency considerations there, you know? Yeah. Also, you're choosing to put a capital C in your email address, but not in your website. And S also. Miles, Caraker, sound.com. Up to you. Let's go. Okay, so first thing, Titanfall. This is now a different font than your opening. I think it's different than this too. So again, there's not really any consideration for identity here, you know. We are speed Shermaning though. Great, good. Big blast, and then big fight, and then we fade to black, crossfade. Prompt, snappy crossfade, it's fine. Here, same thing. Woof. Yep, cool, and then same thing here. It's real low down here is one thing, you know, redesign. This content. Also, is that like an orange separation? On the... Like, what is happening here? Is there two different... Yeah, it's like an orange separator on the gray thing. Yeah, gray, unfortunately, just doesn't look great when you throw it on top of something with a lower opacity. It just serves to make it look kind of, well, like brown, like gray-brown, you know? So I think this could be a little slicker with just black behind instead. You know, black, lower everything. Can't hurt. But also bring these things up. This is really low on the video. Like, throw it here instead. No one's going to be upset that it's there. It's fine. And, yeah, so into material selection, Ori and Titanfall 2 are extremely different games. Like, even these two, Titanfall 2 and Hollow Knight, are like, these teams have nothing in common. Like, Respawn and Team Cherry are, there's no correlation. So this, unfortunately, Miles, if we, again, watch it on mute, I would not be able to glean any kind of idea of where you want to end up or what kind of games you like to play, you know? It's or what kind of games you would like to play and work on. So this is maybe a problem. If you are not sure what you want to work on, that's fine, but be aware that having some indication that yes, you are invested in, let's say you apply to Respawn and they see Titanfall 2, like, oh, sick. Miles wants to work on games that we make. That's fantastic. Miles seems to have some buy-in for our team. Great. And then it's like Hollow Knight. They're like, oh, do they have buy-in? You know? So there may be question marks that come up, and also there may be, well, more importantly and more likely, there will simply be other candidates who are vying for that same position who are more focused in their demo reel, and therefore you will lose out to them. Full stop. That's just how it's going to work. Because they will appear to be a less risky candidate. They appear to have more buy-in than you do. Therefore, they will get the job. So if you want to apply for indie positions, freelance gigs, so be it, but maybe have a different reel for that, and maybe like a AAA reel if you're applying to gigs like, you know, Respawn. All right, content quality. So the thing is, there's some good design in here. It's just so quiet. Yeah, highs are missing, and the thing is, these headphones blast highs, and even these headphones are pretty quiet, so that means they're even lower than I think they are. You got the bass covered though, like. It's getting a little bit distorty on that explosion, and like. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of moment-to-moment design though. It's nice. Just keep your highs in mind for sure, and I mean, normalize going to the bass freak. I mean, maybe. But regardless, Yanni, I mean, this stuff is perceivably louder. Like, this stuff is bassy, the on this thing. Like, that just is louder, period. So why wouldn't this be pulled back? It's not like it's normalizing half the video, you know? Yeah, I think this is a loudness issue. I'm certain of it. Hollow Knight, we got. See, this here, Miles, is kind of what I was talking about in terms of a clip that doesn't need to be so long. Because we have this like roar and then spit and dodge. And jump and spit and dodge. And jump and spit and dodge. It's like the same thing again and again. It's not a huge deal, but the thing is, you are the 120th of 800 reels I've looked at today as a recruiter. So these seconds are kind of painful in that context. Because I'm like, yes, I get it. Move on. I get it. You know? So it's... I get that that's what the guy did in this captured bit of gameplay. So it may be... There's room to find a more concise clip or like crossfade to a later point in the video. No one will care. It's fine. Moving on, Waxheart, we are dragging stuff. This seemed strangely quiet to me here is one thing, this moment. Those 3 or 4 seconds struck me as I didn't know like why it was so quiet. Like things are happening and I wasn't hearing anything. That's the one thing that stuck out to me. And that too, this stuff is that wax? Is that what we're saying? Wax heart? Is this like wax going into our friend? We are a candle, right? Is that the deal? So, I mean, the fact that we're... yeah, please feel free to answer me if it is wax, I'm right. I think it is. Bloop. I mean, it's called wax heart. This bloopy stuff, it's like lamp oil. Okay, well, it's still very, very central to the mechanic and to like the narrative and everything. So not hearing it feels like a huge missed opportunity in terms of just supporting game themes, narrative stuff, like all that stuff, you know? If this is a core mechanic and part of our character and stuff, like we gotta hear that. And the thing is, because it's synced with the same moment as the door, this stuff coming in, the oil coming in, is like of the door, right? Yeah. Yeah, I know it's like student project stuff, and that's fine. But in terms of just feedback, like this is the kind of thing, like you gotta design that. And now Ori. This scream, again, it's a quiet video, but this has got to be bigger than that. That scream does not sound particularly threatening to me, and I mean this is the antagonist of the game. You know? Rah, it's got to be. And also think of magnitude compared to our hero, you know? Like, so small. Look how small. So small. This scream is coming across like it's just a bird in the forest. Neutral. Like, no alignment. Nothing. Doesn't care. Just is making a sound. But we gotta have that danger element in. Even the landing, same thing. We have... Let's see here. So... Yeah, be aware. That's again. I was saying to reference your mixes earlier this stream. Referencing mixes would probably reveal that is fully silent on like bad laptop speakers. So you may want to consider that, and also design some high-end stuff. Could be subtle, but should probably be there in some respect at least. You know. And that, so this moment, that so is that a distant bird scream? Or is it like a ominous tone? I'm not super clear on what that sound's supposed to be, but further, it's... this is a cinematic, and there's just room to have some give and take as far as what is present in the mix and what's not, what to shift attention to, what to give weight to, and this bam. Like, there should be a huge shift there. This is a massive, massive moment, dude. Huge. Whoosh. We need on that down for the weight of this character. And then that hit, it's like a TH, it's so measured. Like, this is, look at those eyes. It's the antagonist, you know? It's gotta be angry, like big, like claw, boom, land, heavy, heavy landing, crash down, and then scream. Because we have a wonderful, like, sweet state of peace here. Look at this. Looks healthy. And it's like, nope. Look at that. This is a shift in tone. We gotta hear that shift. It's dramatic. The sound's gotta keep up. All right? All right. Let me move on here. So, it's already 1:34 as well. Let's glance at things. Here's a wax heart, links to it. Slip and slime, links to a YouTube video. Sound design and implementation. What's it linked to? A trailer or something? Unlisted demo. 3 months ago. Okay, so yeah, Miles, like we see stuff like this occasionally on the stream where it's a link to a video that is a thing you worked on. But I'm way more it's linking to a video that's not meant for a viewer like me or a viewer like someone looking to recruit you or work with you. It's aimed at consumers, you know? So I'm way more interested to see a showcase, like a concise showcase of the sound you're most proud of in this project, as opposed to, hey, here's like a neat game with music perhaps that you didn't do, you know? Like I picked a random spot in this video and I heard the same sound 12 times, you know? There's room to craft something, to capture some gameplay that is a nice little sequence of events that showcases your contributions. And again, think of how little time this person has to view your stuff. They don't have time to click through a thing and try and find something to convince themselves that you're awesome. You need to convince them yourself, okay? Project frame. Same thing. It's an itch. So why wasn't this in your reel? You were responsible for all sound and Fmod. Your first time working with blueprints. Okay, so is there video? Like you're making us search so hard for this thing you did, you know? Like this is a project that is on your page. And it's kind of hard to find. Like it's not in your reel, the bottom of your project page. Why? Like, are you not proud of it? Should we not listen to it? In which case, like, why is it here? Like you gotta just prepare things and show us, you know? Like, what is this here? Pre-alpha demo. It's all music only. And no sound. So like this time right now is us trying to learn about you and we're failing to, you know, like you need to provide something. Because at worst it comes across as discourteous and at best it just is ineffective, you know? Help us out, Miles. Help yourself out. You got to do it. So last thing, just are you standing out in some positive way? I think that you've got some room for improvement yet, man. It's like the volume thing is a huge issue. There is some cool design choices in here for sure, but it's being overshadowed by just glaring issues elsewhere. And when issues are that glaring, it's probably safe to say that people will be slow to take a risk on you. Because it's like, oh, there's big issues. They'll bring those big issues to my project. It's not a very hard conclusion to draw, you know? So you gotta deal with that. Be a little more bold in your sound design. Even this one here, like moment to moment stuff, you can probably duck stuff, bring things up. Duck that, bring new thing up. Duck that, bring new thing up. Like play with your mix over time a little more. And yeah, just keep going, man. I know you've been working really hard for a while. It's just keep at it, yeah. And again, no claps button. So thank you, Miles. Thanks a lot. And both Jen and Miles, if you have anything that you need to ask specifically, anything we didn't cover or anything you're not clear on, whatever, feel free to follow up after the fact, and I'll do my best to get back to you and clear things up. Yeah. In the meantime, here you go. A little more B man. So good. This speedrun was fantastic, by the way. Very meek runner. Very quiet runner. But fantastic run. Very good. GDQ. Big recommend to jump over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick after this. and support a wonderful cause. Watch some nerds play games in the best way possible. It's amazing. Thanks all. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, yeah? All right, cheers. Bye-bye.